What's going on, folks? So today we are finally getting to our sand leveling project, and we are going to be putting down about 2.5 yards of sand up here in the front. I want to show you guys real quick before I mow, and we are going to mow first so that we can figure out where all the low spots are and we can see it real clearly, and also because this is the last time I'm going to mow for a week or so while the grass is growing up through the sand. So let me show you real quick. There is quite a bit of growth since we did the aeration this last week, and also you can see that there's still some holes here. We did get quite a bit of rain, but they didn't fill in, and that was my biggest concern. But you can't really see it right here, but there is an old tree stump that sits right in there, and that's going to be our low spot, but we're not going to see it that well until we can actually get it mowed down. So let's do that first. Let's get it mowed, get it nice and short, and then we will come back through and take a look at it so we can see exactly how everything looks and where we're going to be concentrating all of this sand. This is the worst possible time of the year to be doing this. But unfortunately, because the Bermuda is in full swing, this is the perfect time to do sand leveling for the Bermuda, which is why we're doing it right now. And as you can see, just from mowing, I am completely drenched, but we got the desired effect. Let me show you what we have here. So moving around, just you can kind of see where it's a little bit darker right there in the middle. Well, that's where that tree stump was. And if you get down low, you can see that there's like a little bit of a hump. And right where that green, dark green spot is, right in there, right in the front, that is the low spot. But that's not the only place I'm worried about. I'm also worried about back here that runs around this whole thing is a low spot as well. So I'm gonna try and bring the dirt up right there. And then the other spot that I'm worried about is where we had a little bit of a fungus problem. You can see that dark spot, but it kind of runs right along there. And it's a problem I've been dealing with since we put in our sprinkler system a couple years ago. But you can see where it's dark right there as well. And it runs along the length of the driveway all the way down, almost all the way down, not quite that far, but right about to right there. And that's the only other spot that I'm worried about. The rest of the lawn is fairly level, so I'm not too terribly worried about getting a bunch of sand anywhere. Maybe right there in that dark spot. But you'll see that we're gonna start, typically we'd start on one end and move our way to the other. And instead what we're gonna do is we're gonna start right here in the middle and we're gonna work our way out from there. Because if I run out of sand, I'm not as worried, but we'll probably start from here, work our way that way so that we get up into the sidewalk. We will do a little bit over there by that tree because there are some low spots over there, but I'm not as terribly worried over there anyway because it's really hard to mow no matter what. There's no point in getting too crazy, but I do have a sprinkler head that's right there in the corner, so we want to bring that up. I mean, yeah, it's nice and breezy right now, so it's a perfect time for us to get out here and do this. If I don't finish today, I'll do some more tomorrow after work. Today's Sunday afternoon. I'll try and do a little bit more tomorrow afternoon after work, but I'm not doing this during the day at all because right now I've got shade here and I don't care what day of the week it is. It's just too stinking hot to be out here doing this. The humidity levels are real high during the day, so there's no point in doing it. So do as much as we can tonight, and then we'll probably finish off tomorrow, and we'll go from there. So let's get to it. My youngest daughter said she was going to help me. That was about an hour ago. We'll see if I can convince her to get herself out here. She works out with me every day, and so I'm trying to convince her to come out here because it's a workout, but I don't know. We'll see. So if you see a little blonde girl out here with me, that's because she's being an awesome daughter. But let's get to it. Well, today is day 2, and last night we finished up pretty late, so I didn't want to show you guys where we were because I was just dead and it was dark. But today I wanted to show you what we look like and where we left off. Pretty much the sand is on everything. In fact, let me show you. It looks almost like a beach, not quite completely covered, but there is plenty of sand out here. I did do a good bit of leveling. The sand was really wet, so it was hard to move it around. But today, I think we'll do a little light rake and take care of it. This is where the stump is, and you can see there is a lot of sand there. And I do think it's a little bit on the soft side. So I'm gonna try and work that into the canopy, and then we can add more sand if we need to. I've got a little bit left, but it's really dry. In fact, you can see right there as we move it around, it'll actually fall into the canopy really nicely. So we'll get the rake on there and start working it out. I'm not really supposed to be doing anything strenuous for the next couple days. Had a epidural injection in my neck today, and doc said for me to take it easy, but I need to get this stuff done. So let's get it working, and we'll rake it in and we'll be in good shape. This middle area here is still a little bit soft, so I think what I want to do is try and work the sand as much as I can down into the canopy, and then we can level it above it. Don't want to get as much of that sand down in there. Can't do it with a big rake, and I can't do it with my landscape rake, so hopefully this is enough to just kind of work it in there. There's no reason to try and fill this hole all in one shot, because that could really cause some damage, and we could also end up with a bare spot here, which I don't want to do. So I'd rather see the grass come up, and even if there's a little bit of an indentation, we can then come back a little later and put some more sand in there. If not this year, the next year. This is something that's going to happen over the course of probably a couple years. Most of this stuff knocked down, and it looks a lot better. And like I said, up there where the stump is, I thought about leaving it that deep, but I think I'm going to be better served by filling that in slowly. So I'm going to let that settle in, let maybe a couple of cuts come in. Depending on when we start seeing this all materialize, we can put more sand in later. But this is going to be probably a years long project. As you can see, now that it's dry, you see how fast that stuff goes down. I timed it off of the video, and it looks like it only took about 23 minutes for me to go through and just smooth everything down. So it's actually a really good amount of time to do it. Yesterday was a lot slower because it was so wet and it was very tiring. I mean, it's hot, it's July, end of July, it's July 31st actually. And so it is gonna be a little bit warm, but time of day is something that was definitely useful. And then the fact that it's dry makes it really simple to knock down below the canopy. So we'll leave it alone, get some water on here, let it grow through, and then we'll start mowing here in a few days. This video isn't over. I will come back and show you the progress over the next few days of how everything is looking. But yeah, lots of work, lots of progress. One of the harder projects to do when you're trying to do a real mow like we're doing and keeping things smooth, but it's definitely not a one and done situation. It's going to be the course of several years, probably 2 to 3 years, if I'm still in this house. You guys know I like to move, but if I'm here, it'll continue to get smoother. But for now, it's looking really good.
1 week later.
All right, well, it's been a week since we put down sand, and I have not mowed the lawn at all. And so I wanted to show you guys what it looks like, and then we may get a little mow in here today. All right, so this area is one of the places that we were having a bunch of fungus issues right here. But you can see the sand is working its way through. The grass is actually growing through. But when you get up here, it looks really good. Again, those are the areas where we had a little bit of fungus, but overall, the grass has come through very nicely. Looks pretty good. When we get above it, you can see a little bit of sand still working its way through. And then right here where the tree stump was, probably gonna have to add more sand, but we're gonna work that slowly. And see, there's still some sand coming through, but again, we're only a week away, so it hasn't been that long. And then over here where we had some fungus problems, I don't expect that to recover quickly, but we'll be okay for right now. So now we got to look at it. I am going to go ahead and mow. I'm going to get my reel. I was going to raise the height of cut, but I decided that I'm going to leave it at 1/2 inch. It should be okay. I don't have any really big divots here now that we have the sand down, so I think that we'll be all right to just mow it at the 1/2 inch, and I'll come back here and take a look at it. All right, well, this is the aftermath of mowing, and you can see a much better view of how the sand is laying out. So got a lot of growth that needs to happen. I may put down some fertilizer to help things move along right here, and I need to put down some root growth stimulant just to get that moving as well. And you can see over here how much sand is still visible. Like I said, over here is the stump, and we're gonna let that fill in completely before we add more sand. But I think overall for a week's worth of growth, I think we're in pretty good shape. I mean, obviously there's sand spots everywhere, but it'll continue to fill in. So in case you guys didn't know, we had a bunch of rain this week. So I think that actually helps quite a bit with this growth. But I also think that it is a bit of a problem, because what it does is that it creates a bunch of compaction with all of the sand, and it makes the grass a little bit more difficult to come through. So I think that once things start drying out this week, we are going to be in much better shape. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the growth that we have so far this week. And then the other thing I'll say is that the reel mower does feel a lot smoother on this. It's not quite as bumpy, and that's exactly why we did this, was to make sure that we were pretty smooth. So we're in good shape. I did notice that we have quite a bit of nut sedge in the lawn, and I have some sedge hammer that I'm gonna be putting out. Probably do a video on that this next week or the week after. But I think the next video is going to be what we did with the back. I'm pretty happy with that as well. We're getting quite a bit of growth from the fescue that we put down. So I think we're gonna be okay back there, but we'll do that for the next video. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you like it, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe if I've earned your subscription, and if you want to be notified of future videos, don't forget to hit that bell, and we will see you on the next one. Have a great week, everybody.